Welcome back. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. Major headline: Why North will vote Tinubu by Niger State Governor Bago. And Sari leaders' conviction victory in battle against illegal mining. No going back on free fuel distribution, says Dangote. Peter Obi visits Obasanjo Ladoja in Southwest Shuttle. Build on seed of reconciliation, Ibas tells Fubara lawmakers. What stories do we have? There's one here. Experts' consistent drop in inflation rate will stimulate investment.
Okay, so I have the major headline. They said, why not to vote Tinubu? That's the Niger State governor is saying this. He said this and explained why the North will vote for the president come 2027 general election. He said the president has lived to expectation by implementing his campaign promises. And he said he is ready to be the campaign manager for the president Tinubu because he has done a lot for the North and the country. He also said that as far as we are concerned, it is Asiwaju for 2027. There is no going back. And he said it is proper for the South to retain power till 2031 in the spirit of zoning, equity, and fairness. In recent times, he said the prominent northerners, including former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai and his Sokoto counterpart, that's Senator Aminu Tambuwal, said the North will not endorse the president for re-election. But he is saying that Nigerians will be shocked by the way the North will vote massively for the president. And he said northern governors are able to embark on people-oriented developmental projects in their state because they now receive more allocations from the Federation account. And he said, I have made myself the Director General of the campaign for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. Wow. And the headquarters of the campaign is here in Niger State.
Wow.
So,
that's interesting.
And he said that he will continue to support the president, my people and my state, and will also go to other states and make sure that they all campaign for the president Tinubu. The way he's going strong on
Gingering
the thing. So let's see how it goes.
I have from River State, the administrator Ibas yesterday admonished political gladiators in River State to build on the seeds of reconciliation that have been planted during the emergency rule. So as we know, we're seeing the final departure of the administrator that was put in because of the emergency rule that was placed on River State. And so he, as one of the activities towards the end of the state of emergency, they had an interdenominational Thanksgiving that was organized by the River State government, and this happened at the Ecumenical Center in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The administrator said that the state cannot afford another protracted political crisis. He urged politicians and other stakeholders to learn from the lessons of the period, sheath their swords, and embrace peace, reconciliation, and unity. You know, he gave a lot of advice, and he says, you know, that for he talked about how the 6 months has been, but he's happy to, you know, that sort of they've planted seeds of, you know, progress and unity, and he's asking that all those involved, the politicians and all stakeholders, please build on what we've already started in these 6 months to help reconcile everybody and heal, you know, River State. And he also urged the youth to avoid violence and channel their energy into building and sustaining peace. I think he leaves on Thursday, on when the governor would resume his seat.
I'm happy this was successful.
Yes.
Okay, so recent attacks against Dangote petroleum refinery from some associations in the oil and gas industry were orchestrated to derail the planned free fuel distribution logistics initiative. The management of Dangote refinery has said this. They put out a statement last night. It's, however, foreclosed backtracking on the initiative, adding that the attacks lack genuine and patriotic concerns. And so in part of what they said in the statement yesterday night was that the refinery said that the position of NUPENG and Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, that's that man, lacks legitimacy and has nothing to do with unionization as they have claimed. They also said that these are just threats and actions which were not really born out of anybody's interest, but personal interest, because they reacted to a press statement by Dapman, which was published in some newspapers over the weekend, that Dangote refinery noted that their claims contradicted certain established facts. And what are the facts? One of the facts is the fact that in January 2022, the NNPC reported that one of Dapman's members had supplied petroleum containing over 15% methanol. You know, yes, and this really damaged the engines of thousands of end users.
Whoa.
And no investigation was carried out. The people involved were not punished. Nothing was done. And then because of their personal interests now, they're trying to boycott this, what Dangote Refinery is trying to do in terms of the free deliveries. And they're also saying that what Nupeng is saying is incorrect, that the claim that price of petrol in Togo is lower than that in Nigeria is absolutely false.
Wow.
Yes. So they're saying that the Dangote refinery has positioned Nigeria as the primary source of affordable petrol feedstock for West Africa, despite the refinery importing over 60% of the crude oil it processes. So I'm happy that they're not backtracking on this, and regardless of anything going on.
Let me add as well, because I took the story as well, and it says Dapman, it's accusing Dapman of what they say, that they have like they are focused, they say they are disproportionately focused on the importation of refined products, even admitting to round tripping. So this is where they would, petrol that has been produced by Dangote refinery, and they would re-import that same fuel from Togo and then bring it to Nigeria and the markup, when you can just get straight from the refinery. These are the issues.
Yeah. Okay, so the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, said the conviction of the commander of the Ansaru terrorist group, Mahmoud Usman, to a 15-year jail term is a major victory in the war against illegal mining. On Thursday, Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja declared or delivered a verdict which remanded the accused in prison to face 31 other charges. Now, commending the judiciary for supporting the ministry's effort to crush illegal mining, the minister said the verdict had established that bandits engage in illegal mining to fund their operations. In a statement yesterday in Abuja by the Special Assistant on Media, Shegu Tomori, Dr. Aleke said, "It is gratifying for me that the judiciary is aligned with the ministry's objective of zero tolerance for illegal mining. Further tightening of the noose around illegalities in mining continues as a more drastic measure, and that will be announced shortly." So he went ahead to say that the ministry will monitor the proceedings of the remaining 31 cases of terrorism against the Ansaru commanders. He also said that regulators of the mining sector have a lot to learn from their cases, you know, to improve the capacity to counter illegal mining. We've always talked about the fact that people are, we have helicopters constantly in those areas, Zamfara and the rest, lifting our crude without any form of, you know, surveillance. Nobody's saying anything. We just sit here. There's a report I saw recently, I think it was YK that sent it in the group some time ago, where we are just sitting down and our golds are lifted from, we don't know who, we don't know who's in charge, and nobody's doing anything about it. So this is a good one. Congratulations. I just hope that they can continue. We fish them all out and show them shege. We'll take the Punch. Major headline, Ibas defends 6-month tenure as opposition demands probe. Dangote deploys 1,000 trucks. Ipman rallies marketers. Crude earnings fall by 3.18 trillion amid output surge. Kanu seeks transfer from DSS to National Hospital. INEC, Catholic bishops clash over 2023 poll credibility. States pledge quality education as schools resume today. Lagos stops 6-story building construction after Punch report. And Ogun urges residents to relocate over flood threat. We'll take a story and do a short break. Who's ready to go?
Okay, so I'll take the stories where they said the states pledge quality education as schools resume today. They said generally primary and secondary schools across many states of the country will today reopen for the first term of 2025-2026 academic session, with state governments assuring parents and pupils of a smooth resumption and quality learning environment. They said as pupils return to classrooms, scenes are expected to differ across schools. Some children will meet newly renovated buildings, freshly supplied desks, and improved facilities. Others will return to dilapidated classrooms, bushy compounds, and scattered furniture. They said for many schools, lessons and revision will commence immediately. For others, the opening day will be devoted to cleaning and preparations before academic activities fully resume. So they brought out states like the Ondo State. They said the Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngbekele, said all arrangements had been concluded for resumptions. They said the heads of schools are aware, the teachers are aware, and all schools are set. They have carried out their pre-resumption meetings on Thursday and Friday, so they are ready to receive students. Then they also, Ekiti State Commissioner for Education, that's Dr. Olabimpe, he is saying that he has confirmed that both public and private schools will resume today. And then Ogun State, they said the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, that's Professor Abayomi, reminded school administrators that government's free education policy remains in place and warned that no school administrator must charge any fees or send students away for not paying such fees. So they are for different states. Okay. Everybody's saying how they present.
All right, so we'll take a breather here. When we come back, the paper reviews continue. Stay with us. We're still reviewing The Punch. Welcome back.
Yes.
You're ready.
So I have the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria the weekend criticized the conduct of the 2023 election, saying it has eroded the confidence of Nigerians in the nation's electoral process. But in a swift reaction, INEC rejected the verdict and described the bishop's position as ungodly.
Jesus.
Anyway, so based on the bishop's position, he has said, this is what he said, and this was at the Akwa Ibom, the 2025 interactive session of CBCN with lay faithful of the Calabar Ecclesiastical Province, and then the CBCN president and Archbishop of Owerri. He said that the country was sinking on many fronts, lamenting that the 2023 general elections further eroded citizens' confidence in our democracy. He said corruption is the root of Nigeria's crisis, describing it as moral rottenness spreading unchecked like a deadly cancer, accused leaders of neglecting governance in favor of personal ambition ahead of 2027. He says while the country is faced with serious existential threats, many politicians at the national and subnational level seem to be more preoccupied with the upcoming 2027 general elections and less concerned with fulfilling their original campaign promises.
Yeah.
And that's when he also went in and dragged the Electoral Commission and said that so far neither can be seen as non-partisan. That's the appointments to INEC. None can be seen as non-partisan or independent. And he's asking for the amendment to the Constitution to strengthen the independence of INEC and protect it from political manipulations. And INEC said, not today. Not
We're
today.
not going to have that.
We refuse it. This is ungodly.
We reject
All right.
it.
So the Lagos State government, through the Lagos State Safety Commission, has slammed a 6-story building under construction at number 28 Sakatinubu Street, Victoria Island, Lagos, for violation of safety standards and posing threats to lives and properties. This development comes 2 weeks after the Punch reported that residents in the said area cried out over the construction activities on the building. They said it's been causing damage to surrounding landed properties, vehicles, and posing threats to pedestrians. That even planks are falling from the buildings into other compounds, causing damages to their walls, their windows, ceilings, and cars. They say more importantly, there are genuine fears that falling planks and pebbles could harm innocent people on the premises and even lead to death. The residents said it is Save Our Soul message, which was also obtained by their correspondent. So in an exclusive message sent to their correspondent, they said the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Safety Commission, Mr. Lanre Mojola, said further investigations were conducted on the building and that noting that an abatement notice was served on them, but that they ignored it. So let's hope that something happens quickly before harm comes to anybody.
Yeah. Okay, Daily Sun, opposition parties regroup for 2027, major headline. Dangote refinery accuses Dapman of misleading Nigerians. Uzodinma presents book on APC's 10-year leadership, September 30. Race to recapitalization, 6 listed banks meet CBN's requirements. That's what we have in the Daily Sun. Who's ready to go?
Okay, so
NDLEA.
okay.
Okay, Go ahead.
Yes, I have NDLEA has arrested an Indian businessman, Gupta Ravi Kumar, alongside 3 Nigerian accomplices over a 3.9 billion tramadol shipment that was intercepted at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. They said that the consignment was disguised as multivitamins in 114 cartons that had arrived aboard the Ethiopian Airlines September 11. So while I think they say they got intelligence, so they already had their sights on that consignment, and now on September 11, when they were trying to clear it, the NDLEA swooped in on them, and of course, as we say, thank you NDLEA. And as usual, the report also cut across the operations across the operations across the country. There were drugs that were found, they called it skunk, especially concealed in crayfish, which, they intercepted, and so many others across the country.
Okay, so 6 deposit money banks out of the 13 listed on the Nigerian exchange have so far met the stringent new capital thresholds set by the Central Bank of Nigeria. They include Access Bank, Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, Wema Bank, Jay's Bank, and Stanbic IBTC. The capital recapitalization drive unveiled by the CBN in March 2024 is the most ambitious in nearly 2 decades. Under the new regime, commercial banks with international licenses are required to shore up their capital base to 500 billion naira, while those with national authorization must meet a 200 billion naira benchmark. Regional banks face a 50 billion floor, while non-interest banks with national and regional licenses are required to raise 20 billion and 10 billion respectively. We know that this deadline is set for March 2026, and the Apex Bank said the recapitalization policy was necessary to strengthen Nigeria's banking sector, improve resilience against economic shocks, and provide lenders with sufficient capital buffers to finance large ticket transactions in critical sections such as infrastructure, energy, and manufacturing. But with the 2026 deadline looming, stakeholders expect a fresh wave of capital injections, right issues, private placements, and possible mergers as Nigerian banks race to meet the CBN's requirements.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think we have to go because of time, but let me just take the headlines for Vanguard. How attendants manipulate pump, extort petrol consumers nationwide, speak truth to power, Tinubu challenges faith leaders. Federal government predicts flooding in 11 states, advises evacuations. NDLEA arrests Indian, 3 Nigerians over 3.9 billion tramadol shipment. Diamond-rich Botswana appoints Nigerian Farouk Gumel as chairman of Sovereign Wealth Fund. And foreign policy, Nigeria remains non-aligned TUGA. Who has the diamond-rich Botswana? Oh, we don't have that. Okay. All right. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. Thank you so much, ladies. When we come back, we'll move on.
So someone sitting beside like a Ramotuna, she is dressed like this. It's like she's local, woman, and the person that wears. So that's a mindset that I feel that we need to start talking about and changing. Some of our leaders have gotten to where they've gotten with this same mindset. They don't know any different. So it's important that we have these sort of conversations and reiterate it. There was a reason why the late Mariam Babangida was so adored. Was because she wore our outfits with so much pride. She was admired across the globe for the way that she carried our Nigerian outfits. And even because of her, many Nigerian women also started doing that. So at the top, we need them to have that sort of, realize that they, as you had mentioned, that they can set an example. And we see more of our leaders dressing that in a certain way, well, most likely to follow suit. And the second part is, I don't like how in government, every time we want to change a policy, it comes from a place of let's punish these people.
Immediately.
Yes. You are a human being yourself, you're in Nigeria, you understand all the issues. Look at, do you know, apart from the outfit, what really bothers me is that you see some of these civil servants going to work, their shoes have gone bad completely because they have to walk long distances. This one pair of shoes that they've worn for many years, back and forth. Why are you not thinking about that? And maybe if you thought about that, then you think, how do we make transportation cheaper for these people? How do I make sure that my people can get to work, maybe, without having to work many hours? And probably by the time they get to work, they will look decent. So it's because we always look at policies from a place of let's punish these people.
Immediately.
We don't get anywhere. But when you look at it, how do we help each other? Then it makes you much more prepared to address the issues. Now, this does not mean that when you come to work in spaghetti strap, or you have these very long nails that for me I'll accept it. I think it's unprofessional. And a lot of us, you know, we live vicariously through this artists. We see how artists dress. That's their job. They are meant to look like that. The crazier, the more unlikely combination is what works for that industry. They are meant to entertain us. But when you're a professional, you're meant to be professional. And finally is the attitude, as I said, beyond dealing with their clothing, deal with their attitude at work. This thing you said, many times you go, groundnut season. Yes.
Everybody's eating
They are
groundnut
looking,
in
in
the
fact, they'll
office.
be upset. How dare you come and stop them from showing their groundnut because you want something. So that is what government should look at. Real proper attitude at work. Are you competent? Do you know your job?
We'll take a short break, darling. When we come back, we look more into government's role and how we can make a holistic change in the civil service. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.